You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are Raw Break. And family, we haven't seen you in a few days. We took some days off. We've just been, recharging the batteries. Time to talk about Crown Jewel from Saudi Arabia. Jean-Paul, you said like a pretty good pay-per-view and a lot of things. Good matches, the ones that they're really advertised great. Really poorly decisions in the tournaments, but outside of that, we knew that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they were going to keep that feud because that is going to go all the way to WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, and a lot of these matches on this card were, like you said, really good, and it's just a shame that it was, in this in Saudi Arabia, because, people, not to get political, they don't like the way the countries run, this and that, but, they just wish it was at a big pay-per-view, exactly, and it's all done for the money. They wish it was at a pay-per-view like a Royal Rumble or Survivor Series. We have those coming up. And, especially Survivor Series in next month, that's one of the things. Wish it was there, but overall, really good matches. It didn't disappoint in the match quality, but there was a couple stinkers here and there. So.
Exactly. So, we're going to be talking about absolutely everything. Welcome, and thank you for being with us one more time. We're the original Raw Break. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and give the video a like so more people keep seeing us discovering this and staying here. Paul, the show opened up with this match, the Hurt Business. Now, they're finally called the Hurt Business one more time. Cedric Alexander and also Shelton Benjamin going against the Bloodline, the Usos. And, a good match for what it is, but, it doesn't really do anything because, first of all, two guys are, on different brands. And it's just to hype the crowd. That's all it does, And, the Usos look good because they're part of the Bloodline. That's the main reason.
Oh, yeah. It gets the Usos on the show. It gets them a win. And the Hurt Business is back, but what we saw later on with Bobby Lashley, and even when the Hurt Business came out in that match, to me they just look like a shell of them former selves without MVP. These guys are just lost, and nobody expected the Usos to lose here. So, if you were gonna have this, the pre-show was the right place to have it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just to get the Usos over. Super kicks, you know that, and then of course the big Uso splash for the win, and then not even the titles on the line. So what even for the point of this? But aside of that, hey, that's how they need some matches, of course, for that kickoff show that they got us used to. So that's what they did. Let's talk about what opened Crown Jewel 2021 from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Hell in a Cell. Edge and Seth Rollins. You probably say that that's one of a hell of a match, and I think it was. And this closes this trilogy that we had, this rivalry. And in the end, I was kind of tired of the feud, but this match actually made me realize, hey, it was actually a good thing that they kept the feud going because it was, I think, out of the three, the best match.
Yeah, I really like this. Obviously, the intensity there. With the promos and the verbiage that they give Seth Rollins and all this stuff. If they would just let these guys go out there and be legit, this feud would have felt so much better. And I think that's what we got here in this Hell in a Cell match. They were finally able to go out there, be badass. They used the cell. Rollins, he dove at Edge, and Edge moved out of the way, so he torpedoed himself into the wall of the cell. Then later on, when Rollins was up top, Edge threw him into the cell. He bounced off the wall and then fell through a table. So, there was lots of good stuff in here that it goes, okay, they're really using the cell. No, because that's a big thing we always say. We watch these matches and nobody uses the cell. They're not even brutal. It's like, why even be in the cell? But no, this was good. These guys are veterans. And,
Kill switch right there, Jean-Paul. Did you like that? Kill switch, from the days of Edge and Christian.
Yeah, this was good, big. I think he hit the executioner or something on the steel steps, lots of brutalness in this match. Early on he went, he went for where he takes the support beam or whatever you want to call it in the chair. He went for in the mouth and everything. And, this was good. The match was brutal. Ladders jumping off that, the big sunset flip bomb off the ladder, everything just brutal. The only thing I really didn't care for, not to go through each and every spot, lots of matches to talk about here, but just the ending. When Rollins, he did up his boot, and I thought, okay, Rollins should win this, right? Big super kick, whatever. He goes for the stomp.
That's a brutal right there. That's a brutal shot.
Yeah, it was good. I thought, okay, you're going to put Rollins over, big heel. But then, Edge, he crotches him when Rollins goes for the stomp. He hits him in the nuts with a steel chair. Then Edge hits two super kicks of his own, no wrapped up foot, just two super kicks. And then he hits a stomp on the chair, 1, 2, 3, and the stomp was botched. Edge didn't hit it right. Rollins wasn't in the whatever. They weren't in.
He did Rollins. That's turn. He sells the move, but like you said, Edge didn't do like put the power into
Yeah,
it.
because
Yeah.
you could clearly tell by the camera shots they showed, they didn't show it, good, and it was like a brief second and we'll just turn away. But, regardless of the botch finish, great match these two had. Edge wins, and, now I just want to see what do you do Edge and Roman again?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, remember, Edge goes on Raw. Edge is part of now the
that's
Raw.
right. Yeah.
So, this closes the
See
chapter.
how
Then,
impactful the draft is in my brain? Yeah.
Paul, it's like getting involved with WWE nowadays is just, you get one foot like front and then you get like 9 behind.
Yeah.
And it's can you blame, Paul or anybody? No, because it sucks. We're going to talk the parts that sucks. It's coming. Just wait for it. Because next month, on November 21st, we're going to see Survivor Series. I like the theme of it. For example, this looks like a video game, select your team and stuff like that. And, hopefully they do it like, more like the way that they did maybe 2-3 years ago when NXT was part of it. They give it the relevance, the importance that this, pay-per-view has, because it's one of the big 4. And we'll see what happens, but we hope that it will be a little better than what we saw, last year, for example, that it wasn't that great outside of Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. So, Paul, tell me a little bit about Mansoor and also Mustafa Ali. Mansoor is the local hero, hometown guy, so you got to give him a big spot, big win. And like you said, to me yesterday before, while we were doing the preparation for the show, if they would have had like the IC belt on this guy, or maybe United States belt, it would have been so much better because you get the high over. And then you make him a superstar. They didn't do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, this match was all right. The one cool thing for them, they said it's the first pay-per-view match between 2 Muslims. So, that was really cool for them, to be in that. And, the crowd was into it, not as much as I thought. They clearly like the big stars like the Brock Lesnar's and the Roman Reigns and even Big E. And, I mean, they were cheering for Becky Lynch pretty good, too. So, they do like those stars more than, the homegrown guys. But, regardless.
Because they know that, they presenting bullshit. That's why.
Exactly. But, I mean, this was all right. I mean, what is there to say? Both guys are good, but their story's not interesting. It's a mid-card feud. They were on here just because
they're not used properly.
Yeah,
they're not used properly.
And at the end of this thing, okay, Mansoor gets the big win, badass, and then you have Ali attack him, and then I'm not even gonna try to attempt the name, and I really don't even.
I have it, Paul. Don't worry about Mystery Man showed up. He's a all over hometown hero.
Yeah,
I'm on another hometown hero that he showed up. I'm gonna get you the name. Give me 1 second.
Okay, yeah, he's. I think he won, like they said, a silver medal in the Olympics. So obviously, he's really good. I think they said it was just karate. I believe they said was the practice. Yeah, so I mean,
the name of the guy, Tariq Khadami, or no, Tariq Khadam. Tariq Khadam, yeah.
So Ali's like, oh, get out of this ring, you're bullshit, whatever. He steps up to, and it took him forever to get to the ring. I mean, it took him like at least 5 minutes. Even Michael Cole said. He's like, he's taking his sweet time getting to the ring. Michael Cole, like, hurry the hell up, And one kick, Ali sold it and done. But again, I mean, it's good for those people there, but everybody else watching, nobody really cares.
Well, it's like you said, they do this because they're in Saudi Arabia. Anywhere in the world, they will not bring this guy out. I mean, if they do Ecuador, are they going to bring one of the 2 girls that won a gold medal? Please do, and then whack Mustafa Ali with it, and then done.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is just to have the guy, have the crowd in Saudi Arabia. But like you said, it didn't work as much as like they did 2 years ago. But it's fine, that's what we got. And then we're gonna see like the tag team championship match, Raw, and is with the same match that we saw at SummerSlam, but just the titles actually were in the possession of AJ Styles. No, actually, it's still like it was the RK Bros. So what do you think of this? Yeah. This is the main moment for me. He showed up in a camel.
The biggest pop of this entire like match and everything is when Michael Cole said, "Here comes Matt Riddle riding high to the ring." I'm like, that popped me. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely riding high, all right.
That's the only legitimacy, yes.
But I mean, no, I mean this the main focus I feel of this match is, we heard rumors before that they were going to split up AJ and Omos in the draft, Randy Orton them, and they said, no, don't do it yet. We maybe get a couple more matches out of this feud and this and that. But you can tell Vince wants Omos on his own. He wants Omos, and I'm sure AJ's not opposed to it because AJ's like, as long as I'm with Omos, I'm the one who's going to get pinned.
Yes.
So AJ's probably like, yeah, split us up. That's fine with me. Because this whole match, it was just, Randy Orton was giving Omos his best shot. Omos is like, is that all you got? He looked like, the star in this thing just from a physical power standpoint. Obviously, AJ was the one who ate the RKO and everything. Champs retained, no belts being changed. But, maybe you're going to split them up soon. Maybe AJ and Omos, you split them. I don't know. I think that would be better for both. I mean, Omos is better in the tag team, but unless you're going to, put the belts on these guys again, they're clearly going to keep losing. I really wasn't into this match too much. I mean, it was good, but because the other three guys I think are all really talented. And the one thing of note also before we move on is they did mention with Randy Orton, they said, 14-time world champion. The only people who've held it more than him, they said John Cena, Triple H, and Michael Cole did say Ric Flair. So, they did mention Ric Flair by name. And, when they talk about the King of the Ring, no mention of Bret Hart. So that's funny that.
So you speak who they like and who they dislike, despite of their shenanigans.
Maybe Tony Khan with the whole thing. He said, "Ric Flair, you're done in WWE." We're like, "All right, we'll bring you back, Rick." And he's like, "Woo!"
But what I feel is the main thing is you can't just delete Ric Flair, because if you delete Ric Flair, I mean Hogan. Just do me a favor. No one ever mentioned Hogan. The NWO for me is fine. Just put Sting. I'll believe that Sting is the leader of the NWO. I don't care. But like Hulk Hogan is easily wipeable from professional wrestling, but Ric Flair never, because most people associate professional wrestling to Ric Flair. Hulk Hogan is more like a pop culture guy, it's like, oh yeah, but he used to wrestle, but Ric Flair is just pure wrestling. So you're right, and they had to. I mean, the guy didn't kill anybody. Like you said, they're gonna like this controversy that he has is gonna run in the sun, is gonna wear out, and everybody will be like yee, and then the commercials with like the cars thing and all of that, it will be back. But you said this match, we've already seen it, so there's very little that we can add to it. So we're not going to say anything else besides that the champions retain. We're going to see from Becky Lynch, Kevin, the interviewer, he's like, oh, you're like kind of cheating this time around. And like, oh, you do his dirty tactics to get the wins and stuff like that. It's like, no, I don't do that. In the end, I'm going to be the champion again. And the interesting thing to this is like when we talk about the match, actually, what are they going to do to switch the titles? Because she's going to be on Raw, and then she has the SmackDown Championship. I really hope and pray that they don't do the same thing that they did last year with the tag team belts. So let's see what like the character of Charlotte and Becky Lynch.
What I really think they should do to make this whole division just really competitive, because we say it's so bad on Raw, so bad on SmackDown, besides the key players, is you just do something where you just have one women's championship. And you want
Hogan pretty much and unify those belts.
Yeah, and you unify the belt somehow. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they just do it on SmackDown. Oh, here comes Charlotte Flair, and they just switch the belts like you said, because WWE's lazy. But I mean, this promo was good.
Yeah. Here.
I like when she said to him, she's like, "Hey, we're both from the home country. Why are you being bullshit to me?" Becky's a great promo. She's like, "I'm gonna beat Esther. I'm gonna beat," because that's how she calls Bianca Esther, which that pops me. She's like, "I'm gonna beat Esther. I'm gonna beat Sasha." And she's going to do anything to retain.
And see, Paul loves Becky, and Paul completely despises Vince Russo, because Vince Russo said that she sucks on promo. There you go, Vince Russo. F you. He said that like he called Vince, oh, fuck off, done. So let's talk about. See, this is the worst part of King of the Ring, or the crown jewel. We got King of the Ring and like the Queen of the Crowd. The first time like the girls had like this type of tournament, and yet this was the final. Nothing against Selena Vega, but Selena Vega has not wrestled in life forever. And Doudrop, or we will call it Piper Niven, because Paul, I remember videos ago, is in the archives. He said, let's not call it Doudrop. She's a great wrestler, and she deserves to be in this spot. But in the way that like the tournament was presented to us, not even 15 minutes for like the whole tournament, the semifinals, the first rounds, and everything, I didn't like this at all. I don't think that like the title of this tournament has any relevance, credibility, none of that. And look at the picture right there. Look at the picture. Yeah, the picture. I think the picture tells more than like you and me can even be talking for like 3 hours. The picture says it all.
Yeah, and especially when you present now, if Piper Niven was a heel, she debuted as a heel. You said, she never won the big one in NXT UK. She comes here, she's pissed, she's just beating up all the baby faces. And if Zelina Vega returned and was a baby face, okay, you could tell the story. But with Niven being the the huge baby face and Zelina being the small heel, Zelina really didn't even cheat to win. I mean, I don't know what kind of story you were trying to tell, but I mean, I'm fine with Zelina winning it. I mean, gotta give Piper Niven the credit, given the code red, because we know that's more the person receiving the move than the one delivering.
Yes.
So she flipped for that. It looked good. Zelina wins, and big moment for her. And I'm glad for her, because it's like at least I didn't re-sign for nothing. Like at least I got something out of it. I didn't re-sign just to be a jobber for 2 to 4 years, and then I can go work with my husband. No, at least she got something out of it. But no, I could care less about this.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. That's the main thing. That's a problem. But in the end, like the Queen's crown is Selena Vega. So again, one more time, like you said, it was supposed to be a good tournament. It was supposed to be something that starts with the right food. It's supposed to be like something like you get like women like present it with the legitimacy as equal as the men. You didn't do that, and
Yeah,
now Zelina Vega
also,
deserves win.
and also, let's be honest. We might say, yeah, Piper Niven's a good wrestler. Shayna Baszler was badass. There was no star power in this tournament. That was the main
That's
problem.
another one. That's another one. Yes,
and this would have been legit with
like
Charlotte. To me, like if you wanted to really get this tournament over, Charlotte Flair should have won it.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair, even one of the great, or maybe for example, save the tournament for maybe when Bayley comes back. Then Bayley, big comeback. Okay, she wins.
Yeah.
Then and Bayley out all over right away.
I think Bayley will be in the Royal Rumble. I could see her being the 30th in the Royal Rumble.
And win it because she hasn't won out of Sasha, out of the four horsewomen, she hasn't, so that's a great possibility. So let's talk about now the next one, Bobby Lashley and Bill Goldberg, and this was added in the pre-show of Crown Jewel, and it was supposed to be already no holds bar, but also a no false count anywhere. So the match, they gave him the right tools to produce a better match, knowing what happened with The Undertaker, knowing every single match that Bill Goldberg can end in a complete disaster. So also I think he's being more cautious about it. He's aware. He's trying to be more mindful of how bad he's in the ring. So he's trying to get away from anything that will expose him. But tell me a little bit about this, because it was a semi-decent match.
I really didn't care for it too much, to be honest. Not maybe if the winner was different, I would have liked it a little more. But and do the people of Saudi Arabia, I can't even tell anymore. Do they really even like Goldberg? Or do they just cheer?
Nobody does.
Or do they just cheer because it's WWE, and it's okay, it's in front of our eyes, we only see it once a year, so we're gonna cheer for it. Because to put him over Bobby Lashley is so counterproductive to everything that you built up. Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship, looking dominant. He lost it to Big E, but it was a cash-in after he had a match with Randy Orton, so he has an out. He still looks strong. But then to just get beat the shit out of by Goldberg here, it looked bad. And, people might say, oh, it was brutal spots and this and that. But nobody's going to remember this in 2 days from now. Nobody's going to care. And we see this. They fight to the outside. Goldberg had Lashley on the steps. He was going to take the other steps and kind of just smash him with it. He rolls out of the way, runs up the ramp. The Hurt Business comes out. And then Goldberg just beats the shit out of him like they're just two losers. He just beats him up, no big deal. Then he picks up his own kendo stick, and it is just really bad, choreographed. Lashley goes to swing, but he just stops, lifts up his arm so Goldberg can whack him in the stomach. It looks so fake. It looks so shitty. Eventually, because like you said, they changed the ruling because this is the finish they came up with. Spear off the ramp so he could pin him, because no way in hell they were going to be able to drag him back to the ring. 1, 2, 3, Goldberg wins. Nobody cares.
No, it is a problem, and that's what it is. It is a problem that you have to accommodate all these things, and I have to agree with you big time.
Does Goldberg, if he was young, if this was 1998,
1998,
and Goldberg had and he was on Raw or SmackDown, and now he's going to challenge Roman, he's going to challenge Big E, okay, legit, but no, he's going to go away.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's another big issue. Is supposedly Bill Goldberg in Vince's mind is a star power, but since when we say that that's star power? No, the guy nobody wants to see him. It doesn't attract. It's not a big name. I don't think in Saudi Arabia it's even a name. It's just because you don't have any other guy that will put their services for this.
Especially when in the main event we see a guy who's even better than him, very similar style, and a lot younger. And way more over in Brock Lesnar. So
no, exactly. Yeah, and that's the big thing is Brock Lesnar did such a much better job than Bill Goldberg would have done. But this is what we got. Bill Goldberg gets the win, and like you said, Bobby Lashley. I don't want to say buried, but the situation is a bit concerning with Bobby Lashley. But it is a refresh with the draft. Remember that after today, everything that we saw in the draft is going to take place. It's actually now working.
Starting Friday.
Friday to tomorrow on SmackDown, we're going to see all of these changes. Superstars that were drafted from brand to brand, they're going to star, and we're going to see also Hit Row going there. Rich Holland will be on SmackDown. Xia Li. So that means we'll never will hear from Xia Li. If it is Xia Li Tony Storm, we're never going to see them. They're going to be always in the catering, just maybe getting some fries, getting some sliders, getting some sandwiches, have appetizers, whatever they want to do. We were talking about something really bad, and if that was bad, and the match before that with Doudrop and Zelina Vega, this was just the cherry on top of how bad you can present a tournament. I don't know what the agenda is on the New Day. I don't understand why we cater to the New Day. Is it because like they attract other type of demographic? It's just because like some political things, meaning when it comes to race or anything like that. But I do not understand why they need to like present these guys as like super like extreme great athletes when and you have to bury Finn Balor. That is one of like
It's
the guys that like outside of the wrestling world everybody can see that like he's the best out of the two.
I
I
would
do not understand why we need to cater just to fans that like ask for Xavier Woods and they give it to him. And nobody cares about Finn Balor.
I would say it's because Xavier Woods, like you said, he has that appeal with the video game crowd. The wrestling, the modern day wrestling fans. They're not into the more hardcore wrestler. They want to see the guy who goes, "Oh, here I am playing video games," or "Here I am going to Disney World." They want that. If somebody lets them in their life like that, they're like, "Oh, this person's just like me. They're cool." They don't want to see a tough, badass guy who's no nonsense. And I'm not saying, Finn Balor, he posts shit on his social medias. So nobody's legit, but at least in the ring and on TV, Finn Balor portrays himself to be badass. And,
Yes.
I thought this match was really good. I thought Xavier Woods was good as I'm watching this because there was no Kofi, there was no Big E. I didn't see no unicorns because I didn't watch the entrances or anything. Maybe there was in the entrance, so I don't know. But, I'm like, oh, see, if Xavier Woods was on his own, consequences creed, whatever you want to call him.
Yes.
Like if he was doing his own thing, I probably would like this guy a lot more. It's just the New Day gimmick and the whole shtick
Yes.
I don't like. And Balor was so good, a really good match. Like I said, eventually, Balor, he hits all his big offense, the sling blades, the shotgun drop kick into the corner. He goes up for the coup de grace. I'm like, okay, legit. This should be it, but Xavier Woods runs out of the way. He literally hits an enziguri. I think he might hit some sort of slam. He goes up to the top. He does his tightrope walk, does the elbow. No offense to the Macho Man. But I'm like, okay, Balor's going to kick out of this. There's going to be some kind of thing, and Balor's going to win. Nope.
And done.
Put him away with that tightrope elbow. That is complete shit. There's no way that should pin anybody. And, he wins. He gets king of the ring. So.
And out of the two, who needed it the most, Paul? Finn Balor. You said it. Prince, King, similar.
Well, I think it's because it's like, okay, Kofi was so over, they had to give him the belt, right? They had no other choice. They had to give it to him. He was so over. And then Big E's the only one of the three that I think should be the WWE champion. Because, again, if he was on his own and legit and more serious, I'd have no problem. He'd be like Bobby Lashley to me. I have no, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. He'd be a big, strong, believable
It makes
champion.
sense. You believe.
But Xavier Woods, there's no way he's ever going to be WWE champion. So they're like, what's the next best thing? I guess King of the Ring. There you go. Now the New Day fans, everybody has their thing. So now hopefully they can give the right
Paul, my consolation prize on that on that regard is just the fact that like the tournament is so shitty that for me is it's like winning like a Golden Globe, like a Grammy, like an Oscar, and I'm not even deserving it. So that's fine. I don't care. Because the King of the Ring, the last time he was probably legit was what, 97, 98? 2002 when Brock Lesnar won it.
Yeah.
That's when I will care about the relevant thing and the importance, the meaning of winning King of the Ring. Right now, remember even the last one, way back. Do we care about that? No. So that's why Xavier Woods can have as many King of the Ring.
Yeah, and Baron Corbin was the one before this.
Yeah. See, exactly. So, like, all of that, did they do anything with them? Nothing, King Corbin. It became a gimmick that, like, it even went from King to Happy. Oh, yeah, that's all we got to say. So, there you go. Xavier Woods wins, like, the King of the Ring. Nobody cares, I'm sorry. At least I don't care. And Paul already gave reasons why it happened. So, let's go to the WWE Championship match. This feud, two baby faces, does not give anybody interest. Cannot give me interest for a fact that, biggest portrayals like this, both of them are smiling. There you go. Can you be pissed off? Yeah, even Paul is smiling because oh, everybody's smiling here. Yeah, great.
Yep.
I don't understand it. I really don't. But I mean, the match was really good. The only thing that I will say to you is like they are killing the Claymore kick because just a Big E kicked out of it, and I don't know if that should have been the case because Drew was to me kind of like what Kenny Omega does, like the One Wing Angel. He's the same kind of aura. Hey, I hit that, and it's over.
I think we saw Roman kick out of it, and we saw Lesnar. Those are the guys I'm like, okay, that's fine. And when Big E kicked out of it, I kind of felt the same. I kind of felt both ways. I'm like, okay, they're trying to put Big E in because he's the WWE champion. Maybe Lashley kicked out of it. I'm not sure. Lashley probably did as well. So it's like, when you're the WWE champion, when you're the top of the, the list here, okay, you can kick out of that move. That's kind of what I get. But I know I still feel the same way on the opposite end because when Drew hit it, I did think, oh shit, Drew's gonna win the belt, but I'm like, no, he's not. We already know no titles are changing hands here. That was kind of a given with the matchups we were seeing.
Exactly.
And he kicked out, and it's like, okay, and eventually a big ending. I believe that was the second big ending. So Drew,
yes, he hit too. Yes,
so
exactly.
He retains his championship. I mean, to me, that's fine. And Drew's going to SmackDown. We knew he was. See, that's what I remembered. We knew he wasn't gonna beat Big E here or in anything to mess this up. So he's gonna go to SmackDown and eventually probably challenge Roman. So.
No, you're absolutely right. And, they put the title on Big E, so the ring needs to be a little longer, like you said, so it's fine. And that one, I don't have any issue with it, aside of the fact they were both baby faces. But hey, they needed a championship match. Let's do it at the expense of Drew McIntyre. It's fine. After that, no, like you said, nobody remembers this match anyway, so let's move on. So to Becky Lynch, but like you said, Hester, that was the name, Hester, and also via Sasha Banks. This was also decent, and also mentioned is worth mentioning that to say that like the girls always have to cover up their bodies. They're not allowed to reveal any skin, anything like that. So you saw in the match with Doudrop or like Piper Niven and Selena, like they had to wear shirts. Same thing I hear with the girls. They had two matches when it comes involving the women, so like you can see that like WWE somehow is influencing the culture. It's not changing it because I don't think WWE has that power yet.
No, and I mean, and they try to put on a good show, but I mean, I guess the fact that it even took place to begin with is baby steps, but they did show something.
It's a step forward.
They did show something with breast cancer. They had a bunch of
women,
and they gave them like the women's championships done up in pink and everything. And the crowd was Titus O'Neil. The crowd was like and he's like, what the fuck? Let's be legit. And then they were all going crazy. So that was cool. But,
you know what Titus needed to do, Paul? He needed to dive like in the first.
Exactly. Yeah, slide. Yeah, the Titus.
Yeah, he needs to slide right there.
But no, back to the triple threat. I mean, this was good. The one thing, we saw the match on SmackDown, Becky and Sasha, and I thought, is this going to be better than the match at Crown Jewel? Because normally triple threats, I don't like how they're booked because unless it's a spot, we normally don't see all three people in the ring at once. Because what are you going to do? Unless it's like Brock Lesnar against John Cena and Seth Rollins, where it's like, okay, we got to team up to take this big guy down.
Yeah.
But this besides that though, this was still good. I like this. The interactions between all of them. They're all so talented. But when we knew Becky wasn't going to lose. It's the same thing with all these other championship matches. The only one that was maybe in a little bit of jeopardy, but not really, was the main event. But I thought this was good. Bianca looked great. And, I love the ending here when Bianca hit the KOD and then it was a scramble to pin Becky because, she was going to go for the pin, but then Sasha quick grabs her, throws her out. She's like, no, I'm going in for the pin. It made it realistic, not when somebody just lays there and they just jump at the last minute. You're like, no, oh shit. Like, no, I'm going to get the pin because.
Like, hurry up. I got to do it. Yeah.
And then, but eventually, Becky, with the other two women going back and forth, she's able to grab Sasha and she cheats, the way how Sasha.
And then she's holding the rope.
Yeah, so she got her cheating win back against Sasha. So that makes sense. And like you said, I mean, but, the match itself, this was one of them. I would say the main event, definitely wants to check out if you weren't able to watch the show, because this was good. I am a big fan of all three of these.
I think so. But, I really appreciate it.
The only thing with this, and which we talked about earlier, is I hope it's not just because her and Charlotte are friends, like, oh, let's just switch the belts. No, don't. Do something where maybe, like you said, Raw superstars come over, or you somehow unify the belts or something. It's interesting to see, but I'm sure 9 times out of 10 they're just going to switch the belts.
We want it to be interesting. That's the thing. We want it to be interesting. We want it to be like creative, but no. Yeah, just like, Paul, here. Oh, got it? Okay, then you get mine. Yeah, okay. See you. I'm going to be on the other side. Okay. Hey, have a good day. That's all they're going to do. They need to give us a story from it. Like I said, maybe change belts, change winners, who knows, but at least something interesting that would get our attention. But despite that, like you said, really great thing from like the three girls. Excellent stuff. Every single girl had a chance, but the smarter one when it comes to like cheating tactics, Becky Lynch gets the win. So that was cool. And now we close this show with the main event, Brock Lesnar coming back after 2 years, almost a little more than that, the 2 years. Like the last time we saw Brock Lesnar on pay-per-view was also on WrestleMania when he defended the title against Drew McIntyre. And now he comes back to challenge Roman Reigns, and the big question mark was like Paul Heyman. Who is he gonna like favor? Who is actually aligned with? Like, and the one thing also that was fun is like how they introduced Brock Lesnar, no more Paul Heyman. So like finally they got a normal introduction. He didn't even introduce Roman Reigns. So you saw like Paul Heyman in the middle of all of this. But like, did you like the match, Paul? Didn't you like that, or like what are your thoughts about this? Championship match.
Yeah, I liked it, and the way that the whole thing went, I thought it was good, because to me it's leading to a sequel. I think we're going to see this again. Maybe Survivor Series, like we saw. It's like to pick your team. Maybe we won't see anything, or maybe Lesnar will be on a team and it'll be him and Roman or the last. I really don't know. Maybe you'll save it for the Royal Rumble again, or I really don't know what the plans are. But I feel that this is going to lead to a second match. Before we get to the ending, I mean, I liked this. I thought it was good. Kind of just even back and forth early on. Roman, big dive to the outside, and it's like we normally don't see that. We normally don't see that from Roman, but it's like against Lesnar. You got to take out all the stops here, but eventually, Superman punch, spear, all this stuff. You thought, okay, crowd was into it. They're like, do it again. They want to see Roman spear him again, but he spears. Lesnar jumps over him. He goes into the ring post. Then Lesnar suplex everything. Eventually, we see the guillotine like this here. It's like, oh my God, he hits an F5, he kicks out of the F5. Eventually, another F5, he throws him into, Ric Flair, Charles Robinson, he takes him out. And, that was maybe a little bit, but see, Robinson was so good, when he had Roman up on his shoulders, he kind of went up to be like, Roman, you all right? And then he kind of backed away, but when Brock threw him, it didn't look too gimmicky. It looked like, all right, I could believe that Robinson was kind of in the way by accident. So hits him, takes him out. Lesnar pins him. You see 1, 2, 3. He's like, fuck, because he sees the refs out. So he's pissed. Eventually, Heyman, he throws the belt in, but he throws it right in the middle. He looks distressed, like he doesn't know who to help. He throws it right in the middle of them. He says, you know what to do with it. And then they both kind of look at each other, grab the belt, like, who the hell is he talking to? So, and then, but it's like tug of war with the belt. Lesnar gets it. You think, okay, shit, is he helping Lesnar? What's going on here? Lesnar turns around quick. Usos come out, big super kick. Eventually, Roman, he hits him with the belt. And I thought, okay, so you're telling me the ref is running down, the ramp, and he doesn't see Roman hit him with the belt, but I guess they had the ref coming from the side. I don't know if they, so like the way, that kind of made me go, okay, maybe the ref didn't see him hit him with the belt. So, because I'm thinking it'll just end in a DQ or something like that, but no, he hits him with the belt. Gets the did he hit a spear or did he just pin him with the belt?
No, it was just that he whacked him with the title and then 1, 2, 3. Yes, because like you said, we were waiting, and then the angle that they had it, you just saw the ref kind of diving, and then 1, 2, 3, and then of course Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship 400 and some days as the WWE Universal Champion, and he did stare at Paul Heyman. He's like, okay, dude, so do you still playing with that?
Yeah, and you saw Lesnar, he was kind of looking at, and it was a cheating win. The Usos came down, Lesnar has his case, obviously WWE, they'll say, oh, management looked at this, they see the footage, he cheated, let blah, blah, blah. So you can tell the story again, and this match is so good. And I think, also, the fans here in America, they deserve to be able to go to see this match. Heel Lesnar versus heel Roman versus babyface Lesnar, with Paul Heyman involved. Is he going to turn? What's going on? So, this was a good, hopefully, first chapter. Hopefully this wasn't the end of it.
No, absolutely. Because what I know, I can reveal to all of you is Brock Lesnar, after this, he goes on vacation. He's not showing up until the Royal Rumble. So they're going to probably put this on hold. They're going to pause it, and then Royal Rumble kicks in. Boom, the feud comes back. And, of course, your Brock Lesnar will go through the whole thing, all the road to WrestleMania, and that will culminate. That's where it ends. They're going to have that match as the main event of WrestleMania 38. So I think he will win the championship, and he'll put an end to Roman Reigns' reign. I think. But you never know. WWE their plans always change. Whether they're going to do that or not, I mean, Brock Lesnar comes for the big paycheck. Right? Probably he's already back in the United States because he has a private jet, all legit. I mean, the trip is 20 hours, so maybe not quite yet, but he's already coming back home. But the other WWE superstars, they gotta get in another flight, and then they gotta come back to the States on time for SmackDown that the John Paul and I will be talking about. I mean, we got what we wanted. Is out of anybody is the best feud that they have right now. They don't have any other star power. Correct, Paul? John Cena, they went through John Cena.
The only thing, if I was booking it personally, I wouldn't have Lesnar defeat Roman Reigns. because Lesnar's already over. It should be some guy who, let's see, you're not building any other guy up, but it still shouldn't be Lesnar. They just have it be Roman then. You know,
unless Drew gets in the middle of that.
Yeah,
you know,
start building a guy up now. You know, maybe Drew again, like you said, but I wouldn't do Lesnar. You know, because if anything, I'd move Lesnar to Raw and have him beat Big E.
Yes, no, yeah, that would be also different because, like you said, when it comes to a guy like Lesnar, you need to like have him like actually you use him with like guys that he's never fought before. That way you build like interest. For example, Karrion Kross. At some point, Karrion Kross build him up, right? Keith Lee, all these guys that like even Matt Riddle. Use that, you know, all that the words that they had, all like internet buzz. Use that to have a great feud between the two, and maybe you put over Matt Riddle when Brock Lesnar. We'll see. Only time will tell, family. But thank you so very much for the attention. No, you're not gonna get enough of us just right now because we have NXT UK. Jean Paul and I will be back. You know, like we're gonna like just again one more time unify like Gordon and also with Trunks, and we'll be back to talk about NXT UK. But for now, thank you so very much. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Give the video a like so more people are watching the original rubric. And where else can they find us?
And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...